How's it guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Rachel, in case you haven't watched any of my videos before. Today's video is going to be all about understanding your Instagram insights and how to use them to drive engagement and growth. So as a blogger, you want to be growing organically as well as driving authentic engagement, and one of the ways to do that is really actually understand your insights, know very much what is working, what is not working, and then obviously do more of what is working. As well as understanding your insights helps a lot on the collaboration side with brands, when you can really show them a little bit more about your content and really what's happening behind the scenes. So today I'm going to run through the Instagram insights with you. In order to do this, you do need to have a business profile on Instagram though. Unfortunately, it does not work with a personal account. Awesome, so I'm going to be going along and using my Instagram insights, and I'm going to pop them up on the screen for you now so you guys can follow along as I'm talking. Okay, so firstly you're going to open up your Instagram and you can see your personal profile. On the top right hand corner there are those three lines. You're going to click those and you're going to click on Insights. The Insights page will take you to the home page, which has content, activity, and audience as the three tabs. I don't know why this thing is saying I've done 48 posts this week, because I haven't. I've done 5, so I find that a bit unusual, but anyway. So yeah, you can see this is basically the landing page, and I'm going to start by chatting a bit about activity. So activity is basically covering all the interactions that have happened in the preceding week. Unfortunately, Instagram has a bit of a strange feature in that you cannot filter your insights by month. They only happen on a basis of 7 days. So if you are wanting to get your stats over a month, check in every week on the same day and then try to collate all that information together. So your interactions are basically all the actions that have been taken on your account in the last 7 days. So those include profile visits, website clicks, and get direction clicks. This set of insight measures the actions that people take when they engage with your account. So we've got profile visits, we've got website clicks, and we've got the get directions. And then we can also see by days which day people took a lot more interactions. So you can see Friday was pretty popular for me. That was a day that we had, I was running a competition. So if you are working on a specific campaign, you might want to really look at website clicks, especially if you're putting a link maybe to a company's profile in your bio or to an article that you've written about that company. Then you could show them that data at the end of the campaign and say, for example, I've had 125 clicks this week on your article, and over a month it was 600 clicks onto that specific website. Okay, then moving a bit down to discovery. So discovery basically means how many people have seen your content and found it. And basically we have broken this down, or it's been broken down into reach and impressions. So reach means the total amount of individuals that have seen your content, probably, you know, your followers or people by hashtags. It's how many people have seen your content in the preceding week. And then impressions is the total amount that your content was seen by everyone. So it means, like, you know, X might have seen your content 5 times and Y might have seen your content 3 times, and all together in the week that comes up with your impression. So reach is individuals, and then impressions is the total amount of times that your content was seen in the preceding week. Reach and impressions are things that you do want to include on your media kit, especially if you are focusing a lot on Instagram as your main platform of choice. You would want to track this data over a month, preferably even 3 months, so that you can get good averages and say, I'm reaching X amount of individuals per month on average and X amount of impressions. It does fluctuate quite a bit. You can see here that my impressions are down 10,000 this week. I've been quite sick over the last while with the kidney infection, so that's probably why I haven't been posting as much. I really haven't been that active. So yeah, you can see the increases and the decreases. So if you are having like a particularly low week, you can kind of ask yourself, what was happening with my content, what was doing badly. And the converse is also true. If there's a bit of an explosion, you might see, wow, there's something that I'm doing here that people are really liking. I need to make more of this. So moving on to the content, we can see the feed posts as well as the story posts. The feed posts are showing the impressions that a post has received. So we can see here I've got a nukes post that I did, which has 4,282 impressions. And then if you want to view the insight, we can see that it reached 3,334 people, but it has 4,282 impressions, and quite a lot of them come from hashtags. So that means whatever hashtags I used, they really did work well. And we can also see the interactions that people did with this post. So I've got one website click, and I've got 21 profile visits. Quite good interactions. And then we can also see that 2 people saved this and 1 person forwarded this message on to someone else. Okay, so when we're looking at the feed post, we can click see all, and we can see here that you can actually sort your posts by specific metrics such as engagement. We've got follows, directions, likes, saves, comments, calls, everything. So you can actually use this to see like which content is performing the best, what is underperforming. And you can also use it specifically if you are wanting to work with a brand on a collab. So yeah, you can use this to find out a lot of information, such as which posts are performing the best, which posts are performing the worst, which ones got the best engagement, because obviously we really wanted faster engagement. So for example, we can see here this post with Essence, it got really good engagement. It got 366 engagements on this one post. So yeah, that actually performed really well. Also sort your posts, by clicks and interactions. And if you are wanting to gather data, specific maybe to work with a brand, you can go and sort through your posts here, and you can find posts specific to a brand or product, and you can gather all that information and pass it on to a brand. I really just think that when I've started taking notice of which posts are performing the best, not just with likes, but with actual like comments and engagement, website clicks, then I know, hey, whatever I'm doing there is actually working, and I really need to focus on it more. And a lot of the times we like putting content out there and we think, why is it not performing well? But is it what the user is wanting to see? Like, is that content actually performing the best on your feed? Like, if you are really wanting to grow your YouTube and you're seeing that none of your posts are resulting in click-throughs to your YouTube channel, then there's something wrong with your content and you need to possibly rework it or get a bit more creative or have more clear calls to action, So I really feel like using these tools can really help you to drive growth on your other channels as well. Okay, and then just as what we did now for posts, you can also see with stories too. So you can actually see impressions, you can see reaches, you can see link clicks, next story replies, everything. Like, there is so much that you can actually see with stories. And if there's one thing that I can recommend to you guys, it's to really concentrate on your Instagram stories. There's a lot of research and predictions that Instagram stories are going to become even bigger as we're moving into 2020. So yeah, if you're not already having a bit of an Instagram story strategy, I really suggest that you start focusing on Instagram stories more. And something that you can look here is you can see like, okay, who clicked your links, how many impressions. Some people might have forwarded or followed it or exited, and that's actually something that you really want to look at. Like, what caused people to exit from my stories? Oh, playing one now suddenly. Because if a lot of people are exiting, it could mean that your content is boring or it's irrelevant or it's been reposted too many times and you're actually annoying the user. And Instagram stories actually has an algorithm too, and people always will be like, what is the algorithm? Basically, how these things work is they're quite intuitive and they're trying to see what posts perform well, like what do people like. We don't want to put content out there that people don't like. So if Instagram is seeing that a lot of people have exited or jumped off the page when they were viewing that story, they're getting feedback that story is irrelevant or boring, and they'll stop pushing your profile to the front of the queue. And if you've noticed that the Instagram stories, they're not always chronological in terms of who shows up when you first click. I mean, when you are first on your homepage, sometimes it's showing someone like, okay, why is this person showing first? They didn't necessarily post the most recently. It's because that one is popular and people are really enjoying that sequence of stories. So Instagram stories can also tell you so much information which you can use to work with brands and to give brands feedback and information. And a lot of campaigns that are happening with Instagram really do actually want this sort of data from you. So if you go into your Instagram stories and you can see they're seen by 464, you can actually click on that and you can see how many actions were taken from this exact story. So you can see that 4 people shared this story, 1 person replied, I got 2 profile visits, 2 website clicks, and 12 sticker taps. So sticker taps are basically taps on the hashtag or the @ Rachel Williams or at the specific brand. And this type of data is actually so important for brands, and they really actually want this type of feedback because a lot of campaigns that I've worked on, they've actually said you need to actually send the insights of your sticker taps because that's actually a specific action that the consumer is taking, and they want to see how many people are you able to get to take that certain action. If you are trying to grow a community that is engaging and you start to look at your actions taken from story, no one's taking actions from my stories. Like, it's probably not that interesting, or I'm not really inspiring action. How can I try and get people to inspire action? And answers And answers to that question are obviously quite complex, but you could do things like taking polls, asking people questions, creating a bit of intrigue, making it interesting, using good lighting, good filters, whatever it takes. You know, there are ways to make a story more enticing that people will actually want to press the sticker tab, or click to the next story to view, or I don't know, visit your profile or reply to that message. But yeah, touching on the story drops, I have really felt that it's very insightful for seeing, you know, what stories are really performing well and what are really underperforming, and what to try and do more of in the future, you know. Okay guys, so I think we've looked a bit at the stories and understanding the insights there. So let's go back and now look a bit at your audience. So if you're a new blogger, this is stuff that you really want to know about, because this is going to form part of your media kit. So if you're emailing brands, like in my previous video, which is how to collab with brands, I mentioned, you know, in your email you'll probably include something about your audience. And if you are based a lot on Instagram, you would probably want to include some of these insights. So you can see here in my audience, I can first see my audience growth, which is 104 in the preceding week. That's quite a bit higher than normal, but it's because I'm running a competition. And then we can see the top locations, and we can filter this by city and country. So we can see that 77 is South Africa, and in that we've got Joburg, Cape Town, Durban as the 3 biggest, and then Port Elizabeth and Pretoria. And then we can also look at the age range. So I have a large amount of people between 25 and 34, which makes sense because I'm 27. And then we have the gender, which doesn't really surprise me. It's 87% women and 13% men. It's kind of what I expected. Most of our audience are women aged 25 to 34. So it can also just help you with as to like also marketing yourself to brands. You can show them, listen, this is really speaking to my audience. They are fitting into your age group, they're fitting into your gender, they are really suitable for your brand. And then lastly, we just look a bit at the followers. This isn't 100% accurate, you know, but I really do find that it has helped me a lot. I previously used to post quite a bit at like 8 a.m, 9 a.m, because I thought, okay, everyone is like getting to work and they check the Instagram. But when I started following this and I saw, okay, actually a lot of my people are like online more like past 6 p.m, past 9 p.m. Like I started seeing a huge increase in my engagement, comments, likes, you know, shares, etc. Because I think that's maybe when a lot of people like me are maybe on Netflix at night, they've eaten dinner and they have a bit of time to relax and actually scroll through their feed and comment, etc. So when I started following this, I started seeing quite a huge spike in my likes and comments. And something that I can recommend is really to take it quite seriously when you post, because Instagram kind of determines in the first 15 minutes how relevant your picture is. So if you post a photo and it doesn't get a lot of likes or comments in the first 15 minutes, Instagram basically kind of decides then that this content is not so interesting or relevant. So they're not going to keep pushing it or making extra effort to push it around to other people, you know, so your content's not going to really be ranking so high. So you really want to monitor how many likes and comments you get in the first 15 minutes and start to see what is a good average for you. So for example, I'll just use this as an example. For me, in the first 15 minutes, I really would like to see more than 30 likes on a picture as a bare minimum, and at least like 3 or 4 comments. If I don't get that, for me that it's a pretty good determinator. Is that a word? A pretty good determination that or estimate that that post is not going to perform well. So for me, I know like on a Saturday at 12 p.m, a lot of my followers are not online, and that's not a good time to post. But maybe coming up to 6 p.m, they're going to be back online, and it could be a good time to post it. And so lastly, I have mentioned this before, but if you want to see your insights specifically on a photo, you click on the photo and then you click view insights, and from there you can see what actions were taken, as well as the discovery and how people found it. So if it was from your profile, from hashtags, or from your home, or from the home page, etc. And then this is also really great if you're wanting to see if you're using the right hashtag. This one received 1,411 impressions from hashtags, whereas this one has 2,546 impressions from hashtags, which is obviously like so much better. So if you want to learn more about like how to grow your Instagram and how to like understand insights and analytics of hashtags, I have a whole video on that. I'm going to link it here over here. It's all about how to grow your Instagram organically, and it speaks a lot about hashtags. But I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that it was insightful and it helped you to understand a little bit more about your Instagram insights, both for your personal content that you're creating, as well as when you're communicating with brands and you're telling them a bit about yourself. yourself who your audience is. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments if you have any more questions about Instagram, insights, anything. I'm always happy to answer any questions that you guys may have. If you haven't already subscribed, make sure to do so. I will be uploading a lot more digital marketing content in the future. But yeah, that's all from me for now. I will see you guys in my next video.